Brian, I think you need to tell everybody about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie you want to see.
I didn't even know they were coming out with a Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
You
Wait,
told me
what?
that this Sonic actually goes super Sonic and collects all the rings, and he has to go against.
I would
Mr.
watch.
Ring. Tell him about it.
I would watch an entire 2 hours of Sonic just running around in rings. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Talking Flix. My name is Steven. Joining me today is Mayhem Mike.
Hey, what's up?
And also joining me is B Rye.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
So since we're switching over to an audio version only, you can expect that this is going to be a lot longer. And I apologize ahead of time for the audio quality that my boy B Rye and Mayhem Mike are putting out right now, because for some odd reason, Samsung doesn't allow you to record your audio while you're on Skype. That's just an Android thing, I guess.
Yes, it is. Boo, Android. I'll let you give it a sponsorship check. Yeah, we love Samsung and Android. Yes, we love you guys. Yeah.
Don't sound so excited.
I'll be more excited when I see the check. Anyways.
Yes,
So,
the check. Let's see the check.
cut them check. Cut the check, Mike. Cut the check.
Come
Netflix,
check.
we're still waiting on that one from all those ideas we have to throw to you from Bright.
Listen,
got shirt ideas,
Sandy the Centaur needs to make his debut, okay? Sandy the Centaur needs to make his debut. But you know what? I'm not going to talk anymore about this. Whatever.
Well, we got the shirts in and ready to go. We kind of copyrighted that name just in case someone actually decides to, start a campaign. Kickstarter. Kickstarter. All right, guys. So, in today's episode, we're going to keep it very simple, and we're going to start talking about all these gamer movies or gamer homage movies that have come out, starting with any movie that has been made from a video game. And, of course, we're going to start with the latest one, Tomb Raider.
Oh, my
I
God.
did not see it. I'll tell you that right now. I could not watch this movie. I know for some. Okay, I'm not going to say that I thought it was bad. It just didn't call to me. It did not say that this is something that I should run out to theaters and watch right now. But I'll tell you this much. B-Rye was there the first second he could.
I was excited for the movie, but it was a disappointment. It was. And I agree with Mr. Mayhem. I did gas him up so he can watch it. I did gas him up. I did gas him up.
I was about to
Did gas him
say,
up.
I have the receipts, Brian, of you saying that the movie was actually worth watching.
Word. Pull out the
Like I said, I was doing it to gas you guys up. Steve didn't fall
Tax
for it.
season.
Mike did. Mike fell for it.
We're going to have to change his name to Mr. What I said, and how I said it, or I'm just popping out right now while I can. Yo, I'll tell you how trash this movie was. No, screw that. First of all, check out Q Mayhem Gaming, episode 2, if I'm not mistaken. B-Rye, your boy, not mine.
There's
B-Rye,
audio of you saying that it was worth watching.
It was like, it's worth watching. He thinks it's really good. And we're going back and forth about it. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, okay, I took somebody who never played the game, okay, who is into action movies, and that person said, because it was an action movie, out of a 10, they gave it a 4. Okay.
Oh, damn.
Now, y'all may know me on the Last Stop on Now. I'm a heavy movie critic, but I decided, you know what? I was gonna push it aside and just judge it as it is.
Did you go in there with open mind?
I did.
That was your
And
first
know what?
mistake.
You ain't never lied.
You should have just gone in there judgmental.
You know what, B-Rye? I don't think I'm ever going to trust you again. Like, I'm serious. Like, when it comes to movie reviews, like, you are done. Like, I don't even want to hear you talk about a commercial for a movie, okay?
What about Rampage? What about Rampage?
What about Rampage?
It's a movie based off a video game, and it's coming out April 13th.
What, Dwayne the Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
Apparently he's getting paid to put these plugs in.
Hey, if they want to, listen, they cut me to check. I don't mind.
Okay, so let me put it to you like
okay,
this.
we all know that The Rock is actually just takes any movie at this point just because they pay him so much money.
That's right. Cut the check. So let me tell you like this. B-Rye, if I asked you what time it was and you told me the time, I'd still ask my man over here, Steven, just to correct, because I don't believe you on anything that comes out of your mouth when it comes to movies and times. God damn it, I just don't believe you.
Believe it or not, I actually have a horrible track record in history of recommending bad things. Well, at least not with you guys. With you guys, I'm very straightforward. But you know what? I've been there where Brian's been, and I've given people bad advice on certain movies. But there's certain movies you just really enjoy, regardless of how bad they are. And you know what? For me, I mean, for Brian, it's Tomb Raider because Laura is Bae for Brian. But for me, it has nothing to do with the Bae. It just, all right, I'll go out and say it. I enjoyed Super Mario Brothers.
The movie?
Oh,
the movie.
Wow. Ooh.
It's one of those, it was so bad that it was good. And I had mentioned it on one of the episodes of Nerds of the Round. Shout out to our boy Sebastian. And go check out his YouTube channel, Nerds of the Round. You'll see us on there occasionally. We like to move around a lot.
First of all, just to say that Super Mario Brothers was a good movie, that's just off.
Okay. You know what? Let me correct my language. I don't want loose credibility like Brian did over here. It's not that it was a good movie. It's that it was entertaining, and it was a lot more entertaining than people like to admit. It wasn't true to the story. It wasn't true to the game. It wasn't true to pretty much anything except for the fact that there were Mario and Luigi. Because let's not get into the whole Mario, Luigi shit, the names. But it's like I enjoyed it. Maybe it was because I was 8 when it came out. But I could go back and watch it now, and I would still enjoy it. I'm sorry, I still would. But then again, John Leguizamo is one of my favorite actors, but even he condemns it.
Anyway,
he's a Latino playing an Italian plumber. Like, come on.
I hate you all. I'm gonna go back and bring us back on the topic about Tomb Raider. Okay, the movie. Tomb Raider. First of all, the video game came out in 2013. It was a great remake. All right, we love the pain that Laura went through. If you've watched it, as far as like watch other people play it, or if you played it yourself, you know that it was a great story. It was a great build-up for redoing Laura Croft, the character, and her whole backup and everything. They had a great scene. They made everything believable to a point where I'm not even gonna lie to you. I played that game, and although I was on a supernatural island, and you'll find out more when you play it, I had forgotten about it because she was going through so much stuff. You understand?
This is true.
Fast forward, they make a movie out of it, right? They took certain elements out of it. And let me tell you what's wrong with this movie. Number one, first of all, the pain and trauma that Laura goes through since the boat crash is just superficial. It's just like, it's not even really, like, homegirl gets stabbed. I forgot what she got stabbed with, but it looked like a twig from a tree, okay? And it's like superficial. The wound doesn't even look that deep. And I'm just like, come on, son. You couldn't at least put more money toward props and just like the costumes and everything. You couldn't put more money to sell me on it. And it's just like, she didn't get that from there. Like, come on, like from when the first scene, you go through the whole boat and then you land on the island, you got to climb yourself out of the cave. Like, they didn't even have that. Of course, they kept the airplane thing, which was fine, and the whole parachute, but there's so much more. The story, completely different, Lara Croft fans. Completely different.
It was.
Well, this is the thing.
Go ahead.
This is the thing I can say.
Defend it.
This is the thing. No, I'm not even going to defend it because I agree with Mike. What the thing that they dropped the ball on is that they didn't get to build Laura as the character herself, like Mayhem was saying.
So the whole point of the entire movie was to build Laura.
The whole point.
They failed.
See, the whole point, like what Mayhem said, when you play the Tomb Raider game, you're invested in Lara Croft because they're building her story up in the game. As you're watching the movie, they're not doing that. So you don't get to relate. You don't get to relate to Laura at all in the movie.
Yo, you know what? Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. I'm going to say this one thing. She does not lose her father until after she gets on the island, meaning he's still alive. That takes away so much.
Because that was her motivation to do anything in any point of the movie or
Right,
any part of the game.
right. I mean, don't get me wrong. She believes he's dead.
Wait, hold on. Didn't that happen in the original Tomb Raider movies too? Wasn't the father alive? Or it turned out the father to be alive? And look, if you needed a spoiler alert for that one, I'm sorry. That movie is super old. If you haven't seen it by now, you weren't going to see it anyway. So screw you.
Yeah, let's be real. Let's be real. So then, and then they change up little elements that made the game what it was. Like, they could have literally taken certain scenes and just like missions from the actual game, put it on. Can I just say I hate directors, i.e. producers like Vision on movies that are like classic anime or classic stories because they ruin everything. I get it. You're not gonna get an award for like copy and pasting, but you know what, bruh? Your checks would look a lot better. Your checks would look a lot better because you sold us. Like,
or at least stick to the storyline. Don't deviate so much where you completely lose the identity of the actual story you're trying to tell.
So
that's Mortal Kombat 2, by the way, guys. That's what I'm referencing.
Yes.
And Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Let's get the title right.
So like obviously the supernatural effect is still in the play, but it's not even like why. Like it's not the same story. Another spoiler, she does not get her gun, okay, until the end. The iconic 2 guns, which you generally get like I want to say 3/4 and the way in the actual game, she doesn't get it until the end. She's using nothing but bow and arrows, and then she gets the grappling hook towards the end.
I mean, you know what? That's a little more true to the second version of the game. Actually, I can't remember too much of the game, but it was a good game. I do remember that. Did she have the guns in that game?
She had a single gun all the way up until like the third part, when you're like 75% of the game, when one of your friends dies and you're in the forest, like it's red or whatever. I forgot exactly how you get into it. And then from him, you get the 2 guns, and then you go forward. The bow and arrow, they kind of explain her being good at because she's always practiced archery since she was a kid. It's believable. Her combat skills, not so much because she's kind of getting tossed every now and again by males, which is, another thing in its own thing. Solving puzzles, they don't build off of that either. It's just she's smart, but they don't really show her smartness except for the fact that she solves puzzles. That's it. Like,
I mean, I do
she
that.
May put certain clues. Right,
Kids do that.
Like she puts certain things together, but it's not really there. It's not hitting.
Well, I'm glad to know that all those times I played Uncharted would allow me to go on to adventures and solve a couple of things. Yes, I'm going to discover this ancient skull because I know how to put a block in the wall.
Yes. Oh, they do that in the movie. They actually put a certain type of block in the wall.
They took essentially they took the most annoying parts of the game and put it into a movie. That's lovely.
Yes. And it's just like all these things, like you don't see her in the game. You see her character develop and her resolve grow. You don't really see that here. This is just like we're skipping over it. Everybody's gonna make money.
Let's assume what's everything going on. You played the games, so you already know what's going on. We don't have to give you anything more than that.
Matthias as a villain is okay. He's not as diabolical, and honestly, maybe he is, but because we've had villains like Heath Ledger, the Joker, like Killmonger, Michael B. Jordan, all these other guys, even Tom Hardy as Bane, we can go that far. We had these guys give great villainous roles. It's just like, we need more from you, bro. He's not as bad as what's that guy that played Joker in Suicide Squad? Oh my god, I can't remember his name now.
Jared Leto.
But there you go. That no-name guy. No, let me say he's no-name. But he, as the Joker, like, we'll never remember you, bro. Like, I'm sorry. That's it. It's done for that Joker. But
I like that iteration of the Joker, though. It's a different. It's a different.
I have to say I don't hate it either, man. I didn't. He went a little bit too insane. But you know what? The reason you're gonna hate it more is because he just didn't get enough screen time. It's basically what's happening with Lara Croft here, where you weren't given enough time to actually develop the character, to actually show what the character is able to do. And show how this version of the Joker is so evil or blah blah blah, whatever you want to, whatever it was supposed to be.
For Tomb Raider, he was pretty much in every scene. Since he jumped on the island, he was in pretty much every other scene. Dead serious. So he wasn't like developed, and I think he entered the movie maybe like 30 minutes in, and I think that's too long.
So just like everything else, is like basically here's the villain. He's gonna do bad things and
listen, ladies and gentlemen. I would
questions
not on hood release. Like, don't buy it. I'm sorry. She did it for a check. I don't know what they're talking about. Rave reviews, and she did a great job. Like, don't get me wrong. There were no big boobs in your face kind of portrayal. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time,
I'm saying is that any movie, if you take the right part of a review out, will make it seem like it was a great movie. And this heading back to where I was saying Super Mario Brothers, I was looking at the DVD the other day at work, and on the back there were some good reviews. That's because all you have to do is pick and choose 2 or 3 words out of a review, and now because this person actually said it, and maybe it's not the correct order of words or out of context. It's been said. So, yeah.
Don't see it. Yeah, B-Right.
Hey, if you want to see it, you see it. I'm not gonna stop nobody from seeing the movie.
Obviously not. You didn't stop Mike from watching it. You kind of encouraged him to do it.
Yeah, you threw me in the goddamn rabbit hole.
I did. You damn right I did.
All right, so okay, so then Mike, what's your favorite video game movie?
My favorite video game movie right now is nostalgic. Is first of all Power Rangers, right? Power Rangers.
But that wouldn't be considered. That would not be considered a video game movie, though. I mean, they did video games based on Power Rangers, but it wasn't based on a video game itself.
Remember, the video game came out before the movie, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, but remember, the show was out years before the video game.
Hey, listen, I'm going on a technicality. Video game before the movie. That's what I'm going on.
I mean, at that point, can't you say something like Saw is my favorite video game movie because they made a game off of that? Hey, wait a minute. You know what, Mike? Flag on the play. Flag on the play.
Right,
good.
You know what? Since I'm on your show and I gotta do your rules, fine. Batman, The Dark Knight. Boom.
That is no. You're going off of a technicality again. Another flag on the play. You get one more before you get ejected from the game.
Wait, why? Listen, I would like to explain myself here. Okay?
No.
Batman was a comic,
movie
right?
based on a video game. Where we take the original video game franchise and take the idea to translate it onto a movie, onto the movie screen.
I would say Resident Evil.
Can it be anime? Oh my god, that movie.
Now, wait. I'm not talking about the later Resident Evils, and I'm not talking about the first one, because the first one was just all over the place. But Resident Evil 2 was the closest one to the actual game.
And even then, it still deviated kind of off the path. But you know what? I have to agree. If I had to choose out of the Resident Evil movies, I would say the second one was the best one.
The reason why I say 2, because you have Nemesis, you have Jill.
Stars.
You have Jill. But it did deviate from the game. But you guys got to remember, too, a lot of these directors, producers, writers that are writing these movies based off video games, either one, they only played a little bit of the game and decided to come up with their own iteration of it, or they never played the game at all. Now, if you take a movie, now I'm going to bring this up. If you take a movie from somebody who's played video games, who's done this, then you get what me and Mr. Mayhem saw today was Ready Player One.
Well, we'll get to that one in a little bit, but let's back on topic.
But like I'm saying, if you have a director that's done all these things, has gamed, that's read comics, has done this, he's gonna make a very good movie. Let's take the director from Black Panther. Phenomenal movie. He knew what he was doing. You gotta remember, a lot of these directors don't know what they're doing. That's why we get these bad video game movies.
Okay.
Mayhem, I feel a rebuttal coming there.
No, I generally agree with him because they don't know what the hell they're doing, and it's horrible. I'm going to go on another technicality that I think you can't refuse. I'm going to say James Bond. James Bond.
Come on, no. That
007,
Golden Eye was also. You know what? Third flag, you're out.
Wait, how?
He's on timeout.
You're on timeout.
Okay. If you would have said Mortal Kombat, Super Mario Bros., it's a movie based off a video game.
Listen, guy.
You can't say GoldenEye because GoldenEye is based off.
Go ahead. Why can't I refute this technicality? Go ahead. I want to hear this technicality. I want to hear this loophole.
Where you talk and I talk, and you talk and I talk. Listen, I didn't even was gonna say GoldenEye. I said technicalities. 007. It's actually Die Another Day. Die Another Day was a dope video game and a dope movie from Pierce Brosnan. Pierce Brosnan was his name?
Yeah, I think so.
The model. Yeah, the model, that guy. So it was a dope movie based on the video game. Even though the video game came out afterwards, but they had it in the works. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm going with because you know why? Super Mario Brothers was trash sauce. Street Fighter was even more trash sauce. It was hot garbage, okay? Ryu did an Hadouken, which is like a flash bomb or like an LED light bulb, real close to the goddamn chest. Oh my god, and Bison Psycho Crusher.
Oh, no, yeah, please, let's not get into Bison.
Shoryuken.
Don't get into Bison.
The rising uppercut, you know what I'm saying? Oh my god! Like even the Flash. No. The animated movie was much better than the live action movie. Okay. Mortal Kombat was the most decent one of them all, and you know what? It was still kind of trash. I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong, but it was still kind of trash. Let's be real. I'm sorry. I'm going. That's why I'm not saying any of these things. I'm going with 007 Die Another Day because I would love to say Spider-Man, but y'all not giving me that.
No, because it's not based off a video game. Just like Die Another Day is not based off a video game. It's based off a movie.
But it's based off the James Bond series.
It doesn't matter. We're talking about video games that transition into movies, not movies that transition into video games.
Then my response, since you guys don't want to help me out with this one, is nothing. I don't have a favorite one. I'm dying on here alone.
I mean, I think it goes to show that it's that hard to actually think of a video game movie that people actually enjoyed and think that was actually good. Because when you have movies out there like that horrible House of the Dead movie,
I got one.
Oh, you got one?
I got a better one. I got one. Okay.
Let's see.
It's actually Power Rangers, but the one that was R-rated that they released on YouTube. That one.
It's still not based on a video game.
Oh my god!
Although I'll give you that much. That is like the best iteration of any Power Rangers thing ever.
Exactly, and technically, if you think about it, it's the video game. It's like, all right, technically, I'm gonna flag you guys on the play.
I'll take that one back. I'm gonna amend that one. That's not the best Power Rangers thing that's out there. The actual Power Rangers comic book that's out right now is the best Power Rangers thing out there.
Oh no. What I mean is, like, the best movie out there is that right there.
Okay, sure.
It deals with the fact that when Power Rangers, actual heroes, have nothing else to do. You know what I'm saying? They beat all the evil in the universe, which is ironic because you could never beat all the evil in the universe. But, like, there's no evil coming to them. They become, like, heroes for hire or mercenaries, and they fight wars after that big war that they have. It's like, what do they deal with? Which is kind of like... It's kind of like what you wonder, like, after I beat this game, what happens? What happens? Like, is the Pink Ranger out here, like, twerking, you know what I'm saying? Like, is the Yellow Ranger out here teaching gymnastics? Like, what's going on? This was the greatest movie based on a video game that came out years beforehand.
That's still wrong, but...
And you know what?
We're going to have to asterisk all your options. That's it. We're going to asterisk everything.
And you know what? And if I was a director... I would make a great movie, and you know what I'll call it? Streets of Rage. Boom! Drop that in your bucket. Boom! Streets of Rage 2. Oh, go ahead.
I can't honestly say that I remember anything story-wise of Streets of Rage. It's kind of just hit start and start fighting things. I mean, I remember the game. I remember the game overall.
Great game.
But I'm talking about story-wise. It's kind of like, you know what? Hit start.
Y'all out here shooting all my dreams, man. Like, I can't even say Spider-Man.
Yeah, no, because none of them are based on... That's based on a comic book. That's not based on a video game.
The whole purpose is a movie that's based off of...
But the video game, right? Here's the crazy part, right? All right, let's be real. Let's call a spade a spade. All video game movies don't come from the video game necessarily itself. Except for Super Mario Brothers, because it's like pretty much the same thing you do all the time, no matter what. Like, there's never been a game of Super Mario where you had to like not obviously outside like the franchises and the other things that they do, where you didn't have to go to all these castles to save Princess Peach and beat Bowser. Like, that's the staple of the game. Street Fighter, pretty much. Tekken, if you want to go that far, the same thing. Fight in a tournament, beat the bad guy, somehow save the world, deal with like inner demons that you've been facing from the previous Street Fighter. What else we got? What else you want to throw my Resident Evil? Fight zombies. Umbrella created zombies. They went through a different corporation name. Fight them. Survive.
I mean, but I mean, if you want to talk about that, it's basically any action movie in general.
However, with 007...
Because 007 is not based on a video game.
That's what we're talking about.
But face different, right? Different. You know, what? Okay, fine. What did you say? You said Mortal Kombat, right? Mortal Kombat? Mm-hmm.
Look, you can say Mortal Kombat, you can say Doom, you can say the horrible Dead or Alive movie, Hitman.
Oh my god.
Like,
you can say the horror.
You can say the same premise. honest,
Max Payne.
no, man,
You can say the horrible fucking Prince of Persia.
Man.
No, we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. POP not holding you down at all.
Listen. That's how bad the movie was.
You know, it also falls under. Actually, also falls under a video game movie, Mike. None of your choices. The Angry Birds movie. So there's more than enough choices.
If it could be animated and you shot me down.
No, actually, we never got into that because you started saying horrible choices.
So it could be animated because I got animated choices that I want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so what's your favorite video game based on a movie that's animated? Sorry, a movie that's based on a video game.
Street Fighter Alpha. Boom.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
That's a good answer right there.
Oh,
it's an actual
answer, yeah.
Yo, I'm just hating. Yo, holla at me. Wildfire Mayhem on Twitter. Just let me know how I'm doing with these guys. Tell me if you guys support me because I feel like they just hate me.
Brian, seeing as that Mayhem took up all that time making horrible choices or actual choices, what's yours?
Well, like I said, Resident Evil, the second one, was, like I said, the most decent one out of the entire series. I mean, the first Mortal Kombat was pretty good. I'm not talking about Annihilation. That was just horrible. Annihilation was just horrible.
That was the second one.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, you also have the original Tomb Raider movies with Angelina Jolie. Those weren't as bad.
What about...
I think it's sad that we really have to take consideration. It wasn't that bad.
I mean,
well,
it really wasn't.
Actually, I'm going to say something here that might get me ejected out of the whole game. Hold on. I think this Tomb Raider that just came out in 2018 is actually worse than the previous Tomb Raider movies.
Because the original Tomb Raider movies just already had an established Lara Croft, and it just went straight into the action. That's why.
But think how bad they were at that time for them to stoop to a new low. I'm just saying. I think this new Tomb Raider worse than the previous Tomb Raiders. Mm-hmm.
But this is what I'm gonna say. This is the but is that the previous Tomb Raiders, they did establish the supernatural nostalgia of the game. You know, they had, you know. Everything was
on this one too.
Everything was but this Tomb Raider, everything, like we said, Lara Croft, we didn't get to see her as build up as a character. We didn't get that feeling of Himiko, which is the supernatural being on the island, as we did in the game. When you play in the game, you get that you know, that what is it? The nostalgia of that supernatural being there. Like, yes, you're fighting humans because that's what you're basically fighting in both games. You're fighting humans. But there's.
You don't consider yourself a human?
But you gotta remember, there's certain parts in the game where you're actually fighting supernatural beings.
Yes.
We didn't get that in the new Tomb Raider movie at all.
So you lost a major aspect of essentially what the video game actually is. I mean, like in most video game movies anyway, you always lose at least one part of what it actually is. So it's like when a director gets on the chair, it's like, okay, what am I, or the writer gets to the drawing board or pen or whatever you want to call it. What am I going to sacrifice? What of all these elements that I have in these games am I going to make the one sacrifice that people are going to hate me the most for? And the one they hate me the most for, that's what I'm throwing away.
And that's the one thing that directors fail to do. Just like Resident Evil. Who the hell is Alice? Like, where did Alice come from in these games? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Yes, Alice made the movie, kind of salvaged the movie, but they never got to establish these other characters. Like, you got to see Jill, you got to see Chris, you got to see Claire, you got to see Leon, but you got to see them in different parts of the movies. And then they introduce these other characters that have nothing to do with the movie. With the game.
So I want to kind of go off really quickly on that because you bring up a really good point for like introducing characters that don't just like help the series at all. For instance, I don't know if you guys remember around that time Resident Evil was putting out I think it was Resident Evil 5 if I'm not mistaken, where Chris went to Africa, Chris and the other girl, and then either 5 and then 6 right afterwards where it was like kind of like Call of Duty. We talked about this on that episode.
The best one of those Resident Evil games that came out, especially after newer iterations, had to be Resident Evil 4.
Thank you. Spain. I said that, and that's because they did the behind the camera view with Leon. That was like the first game with the behind the camera, behind the back view.
third.
But and it also took away the what was it, the chest in the game. Remember in the Resident Evil 1, Resident
Because
Evil 2,
you were constantly
3.
moving that game. It wasn't,
Yeah.
it wasn't within the same area. So let's hide all our stuff here.
You had a limited supply. Remember, you had to care for what you had to carry.
Yeah. Oh my God! Remember the freaking dealer? Welcome, stranger. What you buying, stranger? I love that guy. But anyway, the reason why I brought that up is because you look at Alice. She didn't pan out for Resident Evil as you thought they would. Because normally, if a character is really good or even someone decent, they try to enroll her in the series like they did for Jubilee, in a sense, who wasn't in the actual comics but was only in the show and then got rolled into the comics because she was such a hit. And it's just like
I don't know
such
why.
a shame.
All she can do is shoot fireworks from her hands.
They've actually developed her powers and plasma light. I forgot what it is, but she's actually very more powerful. I think it's because there's so much going on, and so many other comics were taken off. It's still too late to kind of develop her now. And last time I left her, she's a vampire. She's a vampire. It's weird, but whatever. They dropped the ball on
Let's just kind of move on from that. I kind of just want to forget you even told me that.
Listen, they dropped the ball on Psylocke in the last X-Men movie, okay?
But that's the thing.
X-Men movie sucked. Honestly,
but that's the thing is that there's certain. If you're gonna create new characters, these characters have to be liked by the audience. Now, the perfect example of this, of a character not being in the game, or in Mr. Mayhem's case, in the comic book, is The Walking Dead.
Oh no! Let's not get into that one. I'm not getting into Walking Dead.
Okay, so we can actually talk about shows in which they actually had the blueprint to make great movies and then failed. Kind of like, I don't know, the last Avatar, how they dropped the ball on that.
Oh my God, that's like talking about Prince of Persia.
Oh my God!
Don't.
But you know what? Hold on.
People are having bad flashbacks right now.
We don't go on that rabbit hole.
We're going in circles.
Shout out to Lawrence from Geek Ronin. The moment you hear Last Airbender, you're gonna cringe. It's okay. Don't worry about that trauma anymore.
But that's what I was saying. Like when you create characters that are not in the original source material, you have to make sure you're doing a great job. Like I said, and the only reason why I bring up The Walking Dead is because we had characters on there that were not in the original source material, and they were loved by the fans. And the number one character on the show that's loved by fans is Daryl. And if you guys read the comic books, Daryl is not in the comic books. He's never been in the comic books, just like T-Dog. T-Dog was a character that people loved, wasn't in the comic books. So, like I said,
what's up with Walking Dead not only allowing to be one black guy in the show at the time?
Because black people live too damn long. All right,
okay.
We're out here like nope. They need people on the show. They need people dying constantly on the show.
Who's going to die next? Well, I know we got a new black character. We might choose him or.
Oh my God!
Not even her, because Michonne is around for a while now.
Sasha and Michonne lasted a long time. Now it's just Michonne. So, and we got where's the priest? He's on there still, right? I haven't
No, they don't even know anymore.
Michonne has got like another season or two, or until she lands some more major deals. She's gonna be there. But whatever. Go ahead.
All right, so if we're going to stay in that realm, I think it's sad that the best video game movies are, at least my opinion, you said Resident Evil, mine has to be Silent Hill. Silent Hill, just visually, it was absolutely stunning. And it actually made you slightly scared in comparison to other horror movies out there. So, I mean, not saying that it's like leagues above anything else that you guys already mentioned, but it kind of stayed true to the story, but kind of did its own thing at the same time. It gave you what you needed to actually make it think that it's a Silent Hill movie overall. I mean, other than the fact that it took place in Silent Hill.
You know what? Actually, we're actually forgetting something. We are freaking Tron. Video game first.
True.
And that's actually hailed as a classic.
That is. You're right. I think, might have to change. Well, let's not talk about Tron Legacy, because that was just a train wreck on its own. They tried. They tried to build on our nostalgia, and they horribly failed. More than enough people went to go see it, even though it wasn't worth seeing, just because the fact that Tron was in it, and then everyone came out completely disappointed. It's okay.
I
We've
mean,
all been there.
B-Rod did tell me. Why did B-Rod did tell me that his favorite one that was based off video game was the Spy Kids 3D, the Game Over one.
All right. So then, okay. So seeing as you trashed on one of my favorite Super Mario's, let's trash on one of yours. What's your little guilty pleasure of video game movies that's horrible?
Are you talking to me or are you talking to me?
Doesn't matter. Whoever pops in first.
Me.
Guilty pleasure, bad video game movie.
I'm gonna have to say Mortal Kombat, man.
Mortal Kombat was good though. It's not really of a guilty pleasure, unless you're saying Annihilation, you just don't want to admit it. Because I'm just gonna assume that's Annihilation. I can't believe you like Annihilation. I'm gonna edit around this and just make it say.
I'm gonna say no, I didn't consistently. No, I didn't like it. But Mortal Kombat, the movie, the first one, it sucked. Like it was okay, it had its moments. Don't get me wrong, and for the time, it was dope-ish. But it was just like overall, it's horrible, man. I'm sorry. I'm going with Mortal Kombat. Final answer, not Annihilation. Final answer, 500.
All right, Bri, what you got?
That's a tough one. I'm just gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go with the 2018 Tomb Raider. That's gonna be my guilty pleasure. I liked it.
Nah.
See, we got him finally to admit on audio again that he actually enjoyed it. He tried to BS you. No, I was just trying to get you to go see it. No, mofo, you actually enjoyed it.
Listen, I enjoyed it, but I knew the faults in the movie. That's the difference. I knew the faults. I knew, like, what the hell was this?
He's the worst. Let me
all
just.
Right. I got one. I got one more for you guys. All right, before we go to the grand finale, what did you guys think about this movie based on a video game, Pixels?
Horrible.
Nah, man. Like, I think it was so bad. Children didn't like it, and they'll see anything. Like the kid, like I think kids who are like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 got up and was like, "I'll wait for you outside in the car, Mom. I don't know why you bought these tickets for us."
See, the thing is with Pixel, it's a movie trying to combine video games together, like different games together, and they didn't do a good job.
See, Mike, that's a technicality right there.
But I don't.
See, that doesn't. See, like I said, that doesn't. Like I said in the early conversation, you have these directors or these producers or these writers who probably don't know shit about video games.
No, this was just Adam Sandler. That's it. That's all it was behind it.
Like I said, he produced it. So does Adam Sandler know anything about video games that we know about? Have we ever seen him say anything about video games? I know I haven't.
I personally don't listen to much Adam Sandler says nowadays. My love of Adam Sandler died with like Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison.
Listen,
maybe even Little Nicky. Maybe, guilty pleasure.
Adam Sandler, I want you to know that I don't agree with these fools, and you're my hero for life. All you gotta do is send me that check to show that you're sponsoring Q Mayhem Gaming. I'll have to give a whole episode for you. I got you, bro. We're gonna start playing a golfing game next month. I got you, bro.
Sponsored by Happy Madison Productions.
Okay, so let's take the bad video game movie, which is Pixels, because that was bad.
That was bad. I find it slightly entertaining, but it was still bad.
That's his guilty pleasure there, Mayhem.
No, that right there is still Super Mario Brothers. I'm sorry, I'll never deny that.
So we got Pixels. And then, like we said earlier, we got Ready Player One.
Which, hands down, honestly, I have to say one of the definitely top 2 movies I've seen so far this year.
Yet again, who directed Ready Player One?
Steven Spielberg.
And Steven Spielberg has given us some of the greatest movies from
and
the
some
80s.
Bad ones, too.
Some bad ones. He has given us bad ones, but he also has given us a lot of nostalgia movies. To this day, I watch The Back to the Future. To this day, I still watch Jurassic Park.
Shots going on. It sounds like you throwing shots.
That director talk is going to go towards another episode, another day. Shout out to you, Domo.
Domo. Hellish Chimera. I know, man. Listen. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Was dope. I was not expecting it to be as good as it was. Steven Spielberg kind of gives you like the whole family. Oh, we love the movie. No, he did so much. I might actually see this again.
I think Mike. I think I'm gonna have to join you for that one because I definitely have to see this movie again.
I definitely want to see this movie again. That's how good this movie was, and it was like I said, it was like Mr. Mayhem said, it was surprisingly good.
Mr.
Like,
Mayhem is his father.
Yeah, words sound like Mr. Mayhem, like I'm old and stuff, like I'm a gentleman. Mr. Excuse me, be right.
He is no gentleman. Okay, thank you very much.
Hello?
Are you
What?
still human?
I'm still human. I'm still human.
So let's go into the basic. Let's go into the breakdown of it. Not even the basics. So if you haven't seen the movie, we're not gonna fully spoil it for you, but just know that there's a lot of childhood references from
I mean, yeah,
Battletoads.
I think that everyone know. I mean, it's been seen in the trailers. Like the biggest battle in the entire movie is shown in the trailers, and you can see all these characters that you grew up with, that video game related, show related. There's anime references. There were movie references. I don't think that there's a single genre that we haven't covered either on Talking Flix, Q Mayhem Gaming, or Nerds of the Round that wasn't in this, except for no one cares about the announcer's table enough to put a wrestler in that movie.
Here we go.
Nobody had Dwayne the Jock.
Dwayne the Jock. Do we just call him Dwayne the Jock?
It's pretty much a jock, but he's always playing a jock. But anyway, they didn't have his avatar. They had Goro from Mortal Kombat, but you know, and they even had Aliens, my favorite movie. Oh my god! But yeah, like it was just dope, man, because there's so many childhood references. The story actually isn't half bad. It's you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let you find out, but it's like it's so perceivable. It's like something that we all kind of watch out for. You know what I'm saying? And then what I want to talk about really quickly is that it's modern. It's a modern story because even if you look at the characters that become the main characters, and you look at like not just the avatars but the people behind them, they're you and me. They're relatable.
They're definitely relatable.
Very.
They are generally relatable. Yes,
I mean,
true.
it's what happens when you have a good source material as well, though, because, I mean, I have an opportunity to actually read the book just yet. I do have it on Audible. Shout out to Audible. Come sponsor us. We definitely listen to lots of books here. Cut the check.
Yes, we do.
It when you have something that's a good source material, is like a #1 seller. I mean, don't get me wrong. #1 sellers have been messed up before, but it really, like I said, you have a good director, you have good source material, you have a director that understands the source material. You're definitely gonna have a good movie. Now, the only thing I heard as far as complaints, which as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't really make too much of an issue, but maybe you should have left it in. Apparently, Spielberg actually removed all of his own references from the movie, which sucks because it would have been nice. Except, well, back to something that Brian said, Steven Spielberg did not direct Back to the Future. That was Robert Zemeckis. So let's just to clear that up.
I mean,
but
although that DeLorean is dope in that movie.
Oh yeah, yeah, it was. But you know, it really gave you everything you could have wanted for, and it gave you a little bit of everything. It even horror movies, classic horror movies, classic literature was all referenced in this movie, and I think that
even the music was referenced.
It was this right here. If you're a gamer, if you're a fan of anime, if you're a fan of movies, if you're a fan of anything at all, there's no way you can't enjoy this movie.
You know what? Let me hop on that point. It's funny that you said that because video game movies especially, and just certain #1 sellers, always try to incorporate an everybody element into that movie, which generally messes it up. You know, like, this is a movie that could pertain to everybody. That's why we're making it PG-13 instead of R, or, you know, stuff like that. But yet, here it is, this movie does all that without necessarily losing anything. That's what's crazy. It doesn't take away from the story at all. I'm not gonna lie to you, I came after watching Tomb Raider and Brian, like, really shooting myself in my foot, you know, with my own gun by listening to him. You know, it left me open. It left me depressed. I wasn't ready to deal with the world.
It was the best rebound you could have ever had, huh?
Word! Because I came in there. Listen, I don't do generally 3D or 2D because the technology, unless you go to like a specific theater.
I agree with you.
Sucks.
I agree. 3D sucks.
It sucks. Like the glasses hurt your ears after a while, whatever. But I was actually pretty happy I saw it in 3D. I'm gonna watch it in regular RPX, whatever, so that way I can kind of catch it.
How about this? You should go watch it in 4D.
I might do that as well.
I'll see you there, Mike. Let's do this.
Let's do this. It's gonna be also RPX. Check. There's so many references. Your eyes are gonna kind of be darting all over trying to catch everything. But it is so dope when it comes to the elements of the story, and also we didn't even talk about this. The visual display and graphics is dope.
And I'll do this.
Give you a great example. Did anybody catch the Tron reference? Not the bike, but the Tron reference, as far as like when they went to the finish line in the first trial.
Yeah.
Oh, you did that, huh?
I have to say I did not.
Okay, so if you guys remember, when he goes back and he finds the way, if you look at the way it's 3D, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like Tron.
Oh,
It's
it
an
does the
iteration of
Matrix
Tron.
look.
Yeah. I mean, we all got Tron from the bike, from the girl. But anyway, go ahead.
But I have to say that it's weird because right now I'm looking at Fandango and it's apparently sitting with 76% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, and fan ratings are about a 4.5 star. Now, me personally, I would have given this movie a 5. Now, I'd like to think, and I want to sit down with someone who actually says this was not a good movie or didn't deserve like a near perfect rating. I'd have to say.
Right.
What? I would
But
not say that about this movie.
no, he just says that bad movies are good.
Yeah.
He says that with like Super Mario.
Hey, I admit that it's bad, but I think that this right here are the critics who are also fans of the book, because, you know, as they always say, books are usually better than the movies. So, you know what? I'm going to have to go and have to read this book altogether just to see what the major differences were. I mean, other than what I had mentioned before about the Spielberg thing, I want to see what those major differences were. Maybe the book was that much significantly better than the movie.
Well, I mean, if you guys know about this, the reason why the movie was so good, and you did mention the source material, but you also have to realize that the person who wrote the book also wrote the story for the movie.
Oh, well,
He was one of the co-writers for the movie.
So he was like, "You're not ruining my baby, Steven Spielberg. You are not turning this into Crystal Skull."
Well, no, I don't think it was just for that. I think what they did is just like how Robert Kirkman, going back to The Walking Dead, writes some of the shows on The Walking Dead, where it's a lot of differences between the comic and the show. I think the writer just probably left out some key points from the book. Like I said, I haven't read the book. None of us have read the book, which was released in 2011. But there's also Ernest Cline, who wrote the book. He's also writing a sequel to Ready Player One. He's saying that the second book should be out by next year, I think it was.
I have until next year to read it.
So hopefully we'll get a sequel to Ready Player One, which
Ready Player Two.
One of the things that did disappoint me about the movie was the fact that there was no end scene credits, and they could have been.
I think end scene credits are left to Marvel. It's not always necessary nowadays. There's no need to throw in extra stuff. The entire movie was an Easter egg. Why are you going to throw in another Easter egg at the end?
I'm going to push back on that, and I'm going to side with Steven on this one. Because even if there was, what was going to be about? Ready Player 2, if it is going to be called Ready Player 2, we should totally trademark that. But if it's going to be called Ready Player 2, what would they show? You know what I'm saying? It'd be a bad premonition or prediction. Kind of like what they did with Batman versus Superman, where at the end they drop the casket and the dirt kind of flies off. You're like, oh, he's gonna return back, and then you watch, Justice League, and it's like, wait, they had to like revive him? Like I thought he was coming back. What happened to the casket scene? They retconned themselves.
But that's the thing. See, I didn't stay for any end credits. I left. But when I looked behind me, half of the movie theater was still in there waiting for an end scene credit.
Because Marvel has spoiled us. That's why. And okay,
yes,
how about this? Here's a little plug. Here, cut the check. Where there's a nice little website called AfterTheCredits.com that you can go to, and it'll tell you if there's a scene after the credits, either during the credits or after at the end of the credits. And it's spoiler free because it'll tell you during credits, yes, no. After credits, yes, no. That's it.
See?
Save yourself the time. Save yourself that 10-15 minutes of sitting there waiting for the credits to go through. Just check the website and be out. Cut the check after the credits.
Cut the check. I think it's ironic. This was a really great movie. I forgot how much it opened up. I think it was like 53 million this weekend. I forgot what it was. It did really great. Somebody check me on that. It did really good. It's a really it's really one of those films that maybe you didn't think was gonna do so well story wise and altogether, but it was really dope. I don't know if they're gonna beat Black Panther as far as Marvel goes. And I'm comparing everybody for the whole year to Black Panther for now.
Probably
as far
not.
as success wise.
But right now it's sitting around 181 mil.
Well, I mean, I mean, so far, 2018 is looking good for movies. That's all I'm gonna say. It's 2018 is looking very good.
Listen,
Like,
if you want to go, if you want to have this talk, we can have this talk because Disney is about to kill it for the summer. Okay.
Well, considering Disney owns everything right now, so it kind of
Disney's Skynet.
no, that's still Google. That's still Google.
No, that's
Okay,
not Google.
that's still Google. No, I can agree with them. But no, look at Marvel. You
Hey,
have
Google,
Infinity
cut the
Wars
check.
Come out, that as well, and Marvel, Ant-Man and the Wasp coming out. We got Solo coming out.
Which it's going to be hard. I understand they moved up Infinity War, so it doesn't go up against Solo, but Infinity War is still going to destroy Solo because people are
This
already
movie,
like I don't know if I'm gonna watch it.
The tickets are sold out. I already tried buying it almost 2 weeks ago. I've waited too long. So I'm and then of course we got my personal favorite, The Incredibles 2. I'm looking forward to that. Ironically, guys, really quickly about is Solo, right? Solo, I think, is going to be really dope, but it's interesting that they're not really advertising it as much as Infinity was. I think it's going to be another Rogue One situation where it's just like, all right, I want to see this, see how it does, and then it's like, this is the greatest Star Wars film ever. Like, I'm sorry, Rogue One beats everything from Star Wars. I can't name a Star Wars film from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, we have classic films that are nostalgic, whatever, but I think Rogue One killed it. I can't think of anything else better than Rogue One. The ending of Rogue One was just, oh my God, Darth Vader. Oh, cut the check, Disney. Cut the check. Oh,
Well, not only that, you also got what you got. You also got Deadpool coming out.
You got Deadpool.
I'm excited for that. I'm not gonna lie. It's interesting.
The anticipation's there.
To release Deadpool.
I mean,
Don't get me wrong.
they're taking the time. Don't rush it. I mean, nowadays, if they rush a movie too quickly, it just affects the overall quality.
I agree, but you know what? I think there's too many things going on for me. There's too many. That's what it is. There's too many things going on, and I can't expend my energy the way I want. Go ahead.
Like I said, 2018 is looking to be a good year for movies. I don't remember the last time or last year that we had like all these movies coming out within a short span.
Yeah.
You know, it's been a very long time for Hollywood and this type of market. Like I said, what did we start off? We started off with Black Panther.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's movies before that, but no one actually cared to watch them.
Well, no, because you got to remember, we had Thor and Justice League, but that was 2017, so it doesn't really count.
We don't talk about Justice League here.
My God.
So, like I said, you had Black
That was
Panther.
a movie that came out, I guess.
Yeah, you had Black Panther, you had Pacific Rim, we had The Unfortunate Tomb Raider, we had Ready Player One.
Like I said, there's probably other movies, but no one really cares about them.
We got Rampage, you know, you're going to have...
on the Rampage note, with the sense of talking video game movies, you know what, the trailer looked better than I expected it to be. Am I going to run to the theaters to see it? I mean, I guess if I want to go eat some food while watching a movie at Alamo, cut the check. But, you know, gotta eat sometimes. But, I mean, I'm not gonna run to go see Rampage. I don't think it's something that's going to, like, draw millions upon millions of dollars. No Rampage fan's gonna go, oh, well, you know what? I used to play that game. I gotta go see it right now because I love me some rock.
Well, I think the thing is, I don't think that people are going to go see it because it's Rampage. I think people are just going to see it because it's just The Rock.
People are gonna go see it because there's probably nothing else out that weekend.
No, there was something else. I think it's a scary movie out that weekend or something.
Anyway, I'm gonna watch the one where you gotta be quiet because the people.
Oh,
the
hell
hunting
yeah.
them. A Way Out, I think it is called.
No, Way Out is the video game that you've been playing.
So, No Way Out is also a rap album. So, from P. Diddy? Yes, I want to say P. Diddy. Anyway, what I want to see is definitely more, from here on out, I want to see more video game movies, man.
As long as someone who knows it actually does it.
Right. And then also, I like the fact that they're transitioning to comics because I don't know if you guys remember, a couple years ago, it was all about werewolves and vampires. And
we don't talk about those movies either.
You shall not pass.
Don't talk about those movies either.
Oh my goodness, I'm censored. But anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing Venom.
Yeah.
I want to see their take on it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think everyone really wants to see whether it's actually going to be a standalone completely or if it's going to secretly involve Spider-Man. I guess we'll see when it comes out at the end of the year, well, October. So, all right, guys. So, anything else? Any other thoughts before we head out?
Brian, I think you need to tell everybody about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie you want to see?
I didn't even know they were coming out with a Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
You
Wait,
told me
what?
that this Sonic actually goes super Sonic and collects all the rings, and he has to go against.
I would
Monster Ranger.
watch.
Tell 'em about it.
I would watch an entire 2 hours of Sonic just running around in rings.
There you go. You got somebody who will watch it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was the sarcastic like too much? All right, guys. All right, Mayhem.
Yo,
Where can we find you?
Mayhem, Mike. You can find me at Q Mayhem Gaming on the Geeks Unlimited channel. Boop, boop. Or even at the last stop of the L. Hit me up at YFR Mayhem on Twitter for any thoughts, comments, and concerns. Subscribe.
Be
Cut
right.
the check as well.
Cut the check. Be right. Where can we find you?
You guys can find me on the announcers table on the Geeks Unlimited YouTube channel.
Whoop.
Whoop. Cut the check.
Yo, Geeks, cut the
Geeks
check.
Unlimited is the only one who's actually paying us right now, so they don't have to cut the they don't have to cut the check anymore.
Geeks, I need an advance.
I need about $1 million advance. I'm gonna pull the Jim Carrey thing. I'm gonna write myself a check $1 million from Geeks Unlimited, and we'll cash it out in a few years.
You know, that's dope.
I mean,
Yeah,
as soon as they
bro.
hit $1 million, I'll cut you guys out.
Cheap bastard.
And guys, you can find us on YouTube, Geeks Unlimited. You can find us on iTunes. You can find us on Google Play. And just subscribe, like, comment, tell us what you thought. You can also find us on Instagram at Geeks Unlimited. I forgot how we spell it nowadays, but you know what? It's linked everywhere, so just search around. And guys, thanks for listening to another episode of Talking Flix, and hope you enjoyed it.
Wow, Mike was really spiking a lot.
He was, and that's why I sent the message saying that he was spiking.
I